We can chit chat about it. But yeah, I mean, it really seemed to. I think he said 5 minute drive from his house, they got really trashed there.
Yeah,
So
I guess
he
he's
got
just enough south.
yeah, because I know that people in Brooks reported their windows were smashed and things like this.
Yeah, seemed to be the farther north you go and got closer to that center. I know we had a what's his pickle friend of ours in Calgary. He showed was looking on the radar map showing the tail swath estimated using radar scope, and it stretched all the way across southern Alberta into Saskatchewan.
Right,
And then
yeah.
Braden Morrisseau tweeted out a satellite video or satellite photo today
I
showing it.
just saw that.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So there's like a damaged scar you can see
Yeah,
across the earth.
from the
And it,
hail.
yeah, and it really, like I say, kind of, you know, veers off to the north side of Brooks there a little bit. But where
Yeah.
Brandon is, west of town, where his house is, he was right on the edge of where the worst of it was taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Although I've
The
not been
damage.
to Brandon's house, I've watched him stand there and say where he is enough times that I have a pretty good grasp on where in
There.
Brooks, yeah, where in Brooks he is. I think I got the podcast image already up and going. Ryan Vadalainen there with me. Joey Only, Carey Weather Dude here. Welcome to another show. And what we're talking about right now, okay, good, we're working. What we're talking about right now is we're not sure if Brandon Hauk is going to make it onto the show or not tonight. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm still posting things here now for the next little bit, so I'm trying my best to. For some reason, my phone wanted to talk to me about Brandon Hauk. It's like, for some reason, I can't find any information about Brandon Hauk's house. I'm like, what the heck? that's, that's
That's
so
funny.
weird. Who just joined us? Is that you, Hilding?
Yep.
I wonder, user, I'm guessing was you, yeah. Hilding Donaldson,
Yeah. My
Ryan
I don't know
Vadalainen.
why
Hello, Elding.
my new computer won't recognize my name.
Oh, you're breaking up on us there. He's
Hello.
breaking up.
Uh,
Okay, there we go. Okay, I've got this started. So I found that someone sent me this article. It's really great. I don't know if I should share it now. We should talk about it later about the hiker who kicks rocks over, kicks rock stacks over. So that's something to be looking at here for the next little bit. But I mean, while we're talking about yesterday's storms, I'm sorry, I got an itchy nose. So yes, really severe thunderstorms came through yesterday, Brooks, Alberta, but also there was a very high risk for tornado development in southwestern Manitoba, southeastern Saskatchewan. It didn't really happen. The storms kind of formed at the very east end of the threat area. Sort of they formed too late to get started. That's why I got like a hair on here. And they kind of just turned into a big meso scale convergence type storm. You know, it was a very large cluster of thunderstorms. Where is that crazy hair? A large cluster of thunderstorms that was quite lightning and filled and energetic. However, was not at risk of producing tornadoes. So most of the tornado action actually happened in the area where they didn't really say tornadoes would happen in Saskatchewan. And we don't think that Brandon Hauk in Brooks, Alberta was hit by a tornado. I don't believe so. The radar didn't look like it at the time. What it looked like was that storm breathed out hard. So for a short time, its inflow was cut off by the outflow. It's the best way to put it. And it had like an outburst, a downburst, and some really crazy stuff happened. So there was like hydro towers, the big ones, the big transmission towers knocked over in Brooks. What do you think? Like, do you need about 150-kilometer-an-hour winds to make that kind of damage on a hydro tower?
usually, and yeah, they usually stay around EF2 tornado wind requirements. So yeah, it's around that to topple them over. And I know there were some reported gusts that were at 150. I'm not sure what what town that is, and how close it is to Brooks, but obviously, if some were recorded 150, there was probably some within that cells of north of Brooks, but they just weren't captured by any weather instrument.
So that's up here in Alberta. We're talking about
Yeah.
Atlee had the 149, And that's just
Correct.
like from an official weather station. So I mean, any like that's what Ryan's trying to say is that there could have been stronger wind gusts that were not recorded in many places. Maybe even around Alley, there was 165. We don't know, but where the official weather station is, that's what we're going with. That's the details and the data that we have for absolute sure.
But
So as I was
one of the
showing on
things
my, go ahead.
one of the things that will also happen now, and Environment Canada mentioned it in their kind of synopsis or their kind of in that statement there that you have on the screen right now, that the Northern Tornadoes Project, even though there may not have been tornadoes, they'll send their engineers out that deal with structure damage when it comes to winds to have a look at those transmission towers to see how well they were constructed, if there were any issues with any bolts that may have been loose or rusted, etc., that may have caused them to be a bit more weak than normal. And then using physics and their engineering techniques pulled aside and kind of determine what kind of winds it took to actually topple those will give us an estimated wind gust with those that would have happened in that area as well.
It'll be my assumption that because they're in southern Alberta along the Highway 1 corridor, that they're probably pretty good towers. And then it wasn't like the every second or every third tower broke. It was a long string of them got knocked over. So that's one piece of evidence, I think, for me, that I think, if it's like the random one here or there, maybe some bolts failed on some of them. Is the whole line failing like that? I'm going to guess that the engineers are going to find that it took some pretty heavy winds to do that.
Yeah.
So here's the official write-up, at least, of what we do know for sure. Fast-moving supercell tracked across southern Alberta, bringing significant damaging wind gusts and loony to golf ball-sized hail. I know my friend Kara's daughter got hit with baseballs in one of the storms, and it totally trashed her car, which she's only made 2 payments on. She's very young, like first time away from home, I think, kind of young. And did a lot of damage to her car, and she was injured in the process. So it was very sad thing to see today. And I just said too, like, us weather nerds are trying our best to get everyone in the know, not just the day of the event, but for years ahead of time, trying to be like, this is what to look for when you see this, so you just sort of feel like for a young BC woman that goes over to Alberta, starting a new life or whatever. I don't know exactly what she's doing, but her car got trashed by baseballs, and like I saw the damage. Like it was bad. It was bad. So wind and hail caused damage to property and trees, cars as well. Multiple power outages in Newell and Vulcan counties, where Brandon Houck's from. Oh, Karen Richards is joining us. I did see Karen Richards on the road this week. Bumped into her at A&W. We'll talk about that in a minute. Highway 1 was closed between Brooks and Bassano due to multiple collisions. That's interesting, I found. Multiple collisions. So people were losing control either from the wind or the ice accretion on the road. Down power lines as well. Maybe people hit some power lines. Metal power lines were flattened, and they were flattened. That's the other thing. They're crumpled right over. It wasn't like pieces broke off or parts where there might be a structural failure. They were really knocked over big time, these guys. Power poles snapped as well. And damage to irrigation pivots was reported near Brooks. Power poles snap. I'm still thinking that's EF2 strength, do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, it's quite possible.
And no tornado reports from this storm, like I say. This was just pure outflow. This is just pure downburst, right? So damage from the wind can be rated on the enhanced Vegeta scale, like we're saying. This will be done once NTP and Northern Hail Project. I guess I shouldn't even guess. I guess that's the thing. That's usually not my game, is to guess how strong could something be, especially when it's like there's a tornado in the ground. People are like, "Wow, that must be an F3." I'm like, you don't know that. No one knows that.
Well, and the thing about the Vegeta wind scale is it's not a wind; it's a damage indicator, which people sometimes forget.
So, like, I'm not gonna make any more guesses. I'm not gonna.
Yep.
Whatsoever. It doesn't matter. We know that it takes crazy winds to do what happened there, and that was an extremely. That was one of the most intense thunderstorms, I think, this entire summer. The ones that popped off yesterday. And there's an anger to them.
I would agree.
There was an anger to them that was special, and I think is interesting. They didn't happen in July during the heat of the summer, right? When we usually expect this stuff to happen on the prairies. And so Justin and I were talking about this earlier today. I don't know if you caught that conversation. But I was saying, because he said, well, that's probably the tornado season, which conventionally you'd say, yeah, it must be. Look at the time of year. It's August and there's a storm in the prairies. That's kind of like, statistically not as common, right? And I
Yeah.
said, but since that upper level low pattern began developing at the end of last July, 2024, and it's been pretty much the same repeat behavior from it. Depending on the time of year, how much solar influence is there and whatnot. But it's been doing the same kind of thing repeatedly, sending in waves of crap. And especially this summer has been like that. It's been very wet and very cool in much of BC, and they've experienced that in terms of moisture coming over the mountains and making strong thunderstorm outbreaks, right? So, like, what I was saying to him was like, well, last year, I think it was September 20th or 21st or something, we had those 5 tornadoes in Saskatchewan. There was like 5 warnings on the board at once. It was really late in the year, and How Can I were live streaming on his Facebook, I believe, or maybe on my channel, I don't remember. And we're just kind of like, wow, this is like an American style outbreak where we can't keep up with how many tornado warnings are going out at once, right? Late in the year, and
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion with the heat coming in that we are not done. That we are going to see a storm that'll be surprisingly strong like that again. Maybe
Yeah, there'll
not
be
to that
another one.
degree, maybe not to that degree, sure, but maybe more. Maybe, and like what I noticed here the other day was like how cold it was when the strongest thunderstorms developed here. It was really telling to me that on Tuesday I went and caught 6 thunderstorms. I thought that the 4 o'clock one was going to be the one that went nuclear, and it was impressive. It was impressive. It had some really interesting things going on there. Those scuds that were coming out of this little wall cloud across the Fraser River there. It was just awesome. It was awesome looking. But it was the one at 7 p.m. and later, and it was 14 degrees at that point. Those first thunderstorms knocked that temperature right down. It's 14 degrees. It was that one in that 14-degree environment that went supercell. And to me, that's telling. And the same thing happened on Sunday. We had the tornado warning in Vanderhoof region, and it was like 15 degrees at the time, man. It wasn't hot.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that ground. So it's like, well, in order for there to be a big storm outbreak, we need to have the conditions on the ground. No. And we've known that, of course, like often the upper level instability can be enough to make things happen. But this was a very clear example where I was sitting like thinking like, what's making these storms? It's obviously things above me that I can only guess at. And then of course it's like 0 degrees this morning here. So like there's a lot of cold now available already. And you go a couple weeks from now and say it's been 25 degrees or whatever, and then suddenly you have a cold front come in. Well, that cold front's coming in colder than it came in July, which means there's a larger spread of temperature, which means you can have a much more explosive thunderstorm. And then you're having more moisture because it's not the heat of the summer making it into the prairie. I'm not convinced that we're done talking tornadoes in the prairie this year at all.
No, we just don't have the beauty of evapotranspiration helping us out with that extra humidity, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
And anytime we have these giant heat events with these high pressure systems in the desert Southwest, as they collapse, that cold air comes rushing back down. So
I think we're going to have, I don't think this is going to be, I don't know if this is like the way the future is going to be, but I think with that upper level low pattern established right now, and if we're going to have maybe La Nina like conditions coming into the fall, I don't see this pattern changing anytime soon. I think that's a feature we can expect in this kind of pattern when there's that much heat available out there. And likewise, our first tornado of the year was in May here in BC, right? Not during the heat. I don't believe we had a tornado that I'm aware of in BC during the height of the heat when we had our strongest thunderstorms. Storms that
we
were
don't usually
rotating.
do.
Storms that were rotating, and I thought a couple times, like, maybe that one's going to do it. As we're watching radar or watching a storm directly. Some of the rainfall they took in Manitoba last night, this is nuts. Bordeaux Prairie took 100 mils in just 4 hours, Ortel tells me, from Weather Center in Manitoba.
Yeah, and that area needed the rain, so it's nice to see that they got some precipitation. They've been quite dry. Only that extreme southwest part of Manitoba has really had any rain.
Sometimes you worry like too much rain at once, eh? Like
well, that's always the issue.
Really? And then here's Saskatchewan's reports, right? Get rid of some of these are crazy. tennis ball to baseball sized hail in Langdon. This is in millimeters. I don't know why, but we're doing millimeters. So that's 7.3 centimeter stone of hail.
Yep.
It's crazy.
What I was surprised
Okay.
about is how quickly that cell started moving, and it was moving at 130 kilometers per hour. As a storm chaser, I'm like, well, there's no chasing that. It's running you over. I think that's when it was around Kyle.
Sorry, I just had someone show up to drop off
I know,
something at
right?
the house. The dog was barking. I was like, time to hit the mute.
Aha.
I'm back. Have you ever seen a 73 millimeter sized hailstone, Ryan? You've seen some pretty crazy storms.
I've seen some pretty crazy storms, but I have my vehicle that I'm in right now has a giant panoramic moonroof, so I avoid the big hail whenever possible. Although you never know, you can always get one of these things that are getting lofted way out the side of a giant TB. But I've been lucky. Although when I was in Texas earlier this year, we just missed grapefruit-sized hail. But I know what's his name? He's from Quebec. Anyway, he was chasing down there, and he got a photo of one of it, and it's the size of his baseball cap.
I think the biggest I saw was during the Calgary hailstorm in 2010.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was in July. I mean, you can look that up pretty quickly. The big hailstorm in Calgary was like a $450 million hailstone storm.
Yes.
And
And this storm, we got one thing is lucky that it like yes, there's unfortunate people in Brooks, but it didn't go through a major population center because if it would have caused this would have been a multi-billion-dollar event.
well, I think it's telling. It's like you vote in Polyev, and the next day, God tries to destroy your town. I think that's what
I'm not going to
I
get
think
into
that's what
politics.
happened there. I think that's what happened. That's definitely a Bible belt there. It was probably a message sent to them there. Okay, so that's the summary of the weather thing in Alberta. Yeah. So a little bit of warm weather coming this weekend. Fire danger right now is pretty awesome, actually. It's the end of August, and look, this is great. I mean, it's shockingly bad in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. I've never seen that at this time of year. Wow.
Yeah, hopefully the outer bands of Hurricane Erin give them a little bit of precipitation over the next couple of days. I don't think it's going to give them much, though, unfortunately.
No, and you better hope it gives them a lot because it's definitely going to kick up the wind. I mean, Nova
Yeah.
Scotia is not going to get hit by this hurricane at all.
No.
People get this through your minds. But 30, 40, 50 kilometer hour winds coming from offshore. If the weather
Not
is,
helpful.
yeah, it's not helpful. That's the best way to put it.
Yep.
But if we go jump ahead here a couple days and look again, we'll look at the 26th, we'll say. And before we do that, just like notice BC mostly looking pretty good.
Better
High
change fast.
in the interior, yeah, high, sure. But really, we've taken quite a bit of rain. We're doing pretty good. It's a little bit in the blues there through the Rocky Mountains, here in the Caribous as well. Not too bad. We've had a lot of rain. Northwest BC's looking awesome. Even the north of Vancouver Island took quite a bit of rain there. It really helped the situation. My friends are still fighting fire near Port Alberni. There's still some activity there, I'm told. I don't think it's anything like it was, of course, but we'll jump now ahead a couple days and watch what we get. Watch the change that comes in with the weather. And wow, that's a big, fast change. BC goes into the yellow fast. Yeah, and it goes into the very high in a bunch of regions like the Chilcotin, some spots around close to where Hilding is. Still pretty bad up in the Northwest Territories. Southern Alberta could use some more rain, but look at this. Still really good news for Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Like I've been saying, I think the worst of your fire season is probably behind you now. A lot of communities started going home this week. It's good. It's good. It's been really bad there for a very long time. Is it going to have some periods of burning with the warm weather still in September? Yep. Yep. Do I think we're going to see a fire go 40 kilometers like it did? That one that came at, was it Thompson, Manitoba? Is that town there? Yeah. Flin Flon. No, Thompson. Flin Flon, yes.
Flin
The one on the
Flon.
border. Yeah. Yeah, that fire came 40 kilometers, if you recall, in like 24 hours, and then was at their doorstep. And then the weather changed like just enough that the fire was like, and yeah, there's a lot of lucky stories up there this summer. How more towns didn't burn down actually than did. How there wasn't more loss. But hey, for the end of September or end of August, sorry, this is pretty good, man. We've had a pretty good fire season in BC. Had a pretty good fire season here. We've been pretty lucky because we've had so much moisture thrown at us so many times that every time it started to get bad, we get knocked right back down. That's fire danger coming towards the end of the month. We've got a period of heat, and I think at the end of this heat comes thunderstorms. I think it's going to happen again. You mark my words. In fact, I noticed that I'm probably right. Oh, yeah, look at this. Ontario today, they had some of those storms spill over into Ontario today. A couple are going through northwest Ontario right now, Western Ontario. And then overnight, they're looking at, still a moderate risk of very strong thunderstorm down in this area, sort of west of Kakabeka Falls, essentially, maybe including Fort Francis. A 2 to 4 centimeter hail overnight. That's crazy. Overnight. And then tomorrow, that risk keeps moving to the east. And you got this sort of big ball sitting right there in between Moosonee, Timmins, and, a bunch of places like that. 2 to 3 centimeter hail, severe storms. So the story of this weather pattern that just went through the prairies isn't completely over. That's all I'm saying here. But it is for us, basically. It's, look at this stuff. This is great. Things are getting better. Things are getting better in BC. Things are getting better. Not for Fort Nelson. You get a little bit of rain. You got some weak thunderstorms maybe going through there, but not bad. The weather's getting nice. Here's that hurricane that we were talking about. Here's that hurricane. Hurricane Aaron right here. Maximum sustained winds right now at 85 knots, 100 miles per hour. 160 an hour. That's a pretty good storm. And we got this 80% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. I would suggest it will probably follow a similar path if one forms there. Sort of like, it kind of cuts a trail in a way. Whereas these guys are a little bit harder to know where they might do if they form. They're a little ways out, and they may not have the path laid down ahead of time so nicely for them. But yeah, 20% chance of cyclone formation in disturbance number 3. So we're talking hurricane season's about to start up properly. I mean, we got one on the board, sure, but this is hurricane season properly starting up. Hurricane Aaron. It'll continue to produce life-threatening surf and rip currents. Did you see that the other day? They said Aaron has become a catastrophic Category 5, they said for a little while. And I said, catastrophic. It's out in the ocean, and it's not going anywhere near anything.
Mixing up some fish.
Yeah, catastrophic for the seagulls.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of... And then I saw people today had some... Remember Justin, he put this in the group chat. It was like, what did it say? It said, hurricane barreling towards the East Coast. And there's like probably 10,000 people watching that guy's live stream. There's probably 10 people watching mine right now where I'm telling you, the hurricane is not barreling towards the coast, and it never was. It was never the plan. It was never the plan. This is exactly the plan. As you can see, though, those wind fields are pretty close to Nova Scotia. They're probably going to pick up the winds a little bit. Winds are probably going to pick up a little bit. We wouldn't want to see that on the fires there. So we're hoping some rain can be part of this story for them over the next few days. I bet you Frankie will have some ideas on that when he shows up in a little while. Yeah, we got 5 minutes till Frankie gets here. 5-minute warning, everybody. Hey, Karen. So bumped into you this week.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Totally random.
Totally random. My brain didn't click at first that it was you.
Sorry, I probably should have, when I rolled down the window, said, "Hey, Joey, it's Karen."
Yeah, and then I did twice. Look, I see Jenny wants to come on. She needs the link.
Oh, sweet.
I'll send her the link. Jenny Hagen. So she was chasing those storms yesterday. Hank Vliestra was chasing those storms yesterday. I don't know if we're going to see Hank or not. Unfortunately, Brandon is probably a no-go. I would think we might have seen him. He might still pop in
So out of power.
during the Frankie time, be like, "Oh, I chose the time to which to use my 20% battery on my phone for the
Okay,
moment."
Jenny will be a good one because she documents that storm as it started moving into Saskatchewan.
So we got like everything covered. We got it moving
Yeah.
towards Saskatchewan with Brandon. We got Jenny capturing it by the Saskatchewan border. And then we got the storms that fired up ahead of that Hank happened to get. And that was crazy too, because Hank got all that hail, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
he like posted like, "Hey, look at the hail we're getting." And like, I look at the radar, and of course I'm looking at a large area, but it's like the tiniest dot of all the storms in the map, and it was throwing this nickel-sized hail on them. And then the cell just to the north that kind of took off and did its own thing, became very tornadic. But I thought, wow, that's really telling when that little thing is dumping hail like that on you. Like, it was very telling. You got your new house, eh, Hilding?
Yeah, that's where I'm broadcasting from. So I'm hotspotting my phone, so that's why my internet is a little bit breaking up.
Yeah, you liking your new house though, eh? It was your mom's house.
Yeah, yeah, no, I just love it here. It's just like, well, it was home before I moved in, and
Yeah, I'm really happy for you.
That's awesome, Hilding.
Sad seeing you staying in a motorhome or whatever,
yeah, well, it was a good thing while it lasted, but I'm glad to be more anchored to the ground now.
I gotta say, yeah, okay. Gotta get ready here because we got Frankie coming up in a minute. So I better have my stuff ready. Oh yeah, check this out. We're gonna talk about kicking rocks later tonight. This is kicking rocks. This will set me up. Welcome to the Caribbean Mountains with Joey Only. This video is called How to Ruin a White Man's Day. Thank you. All right. So it turns out I'm not the only one who kicks rocks over. There's like an article. Someone sent me the article today. They're like, "We found another guy." So I made that video out at Ghost Lake 5 years ago, and people were furious, except for my native friends. They thought it was all
I know
hilarious.
somebody else too,
Do you?
and you all might follow him. Brad Atchison, Brad 604 down here, that's storm chaser in the Lower Mainland.
He kicks rocks, does he?
Any of those ones that people put up, he kicks them. He
Yeah.
can't stand it.
Yeah, I always thought it was weird, and like, I don't know. At first, I just didn't like it because I thought it was weird. It's like, well, a nook shook is a giant thing that you make out in the Arctic to make the caribou go to where you want to kill them. Like, why are all these white kids running around making little rock statues? And at first I thought it was cute back in the day. Like, oh look, when people started doing it like 25 years ago, it started happening more and more. And then like eventually, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. These little rock statues. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kick them over. And then so I made that video, and people were furious. But yeah, this article is all about this. This guy's talking about how in some places it's out of control, and they keep stacking these rocks up.
Hey, Joe, and guess what? You download my videos.
I got your videos this week, Frankie. Yeah, and then you know what? The animals don't have a place to live because all the rocks are stacked up in weird stacks. Okay, I'm ready to start. If you're ready to start, Frankie.
Yes, I'm ready to start now.
Good to see you, buddy. Okay. Recording in progress. It's the Comedy Meteorology Report, Comedeorology. That's the study of how much the weather sucks in Canada. I'm your host, Joey Onleo, here in Wells, British Columbia, 3,953 feet above sea level. What a week we had. Now, our regulars, Brandon Hauk will not be joining us tonight, I don't believe, because his house got hit by like the absolute craziest storm of the year. And there's power lines down everywhere in Brooks, Alberta still, including big metal crazy
And
ones.
Mark Ingalls has got an event.
Mark Ingalls has an event, so we don't have Mark Ingalls tonight. That's true too, Frankie. And I don't know about Hank.
We have free food for him.
I was hoping Hank would be with us because Hank caught storms yesterday. But we do have and we was hoping Justin would catch a storm yesterday and then come be on
And
here.
Jenny is a backup guest.
But no, we didn't have thunderstorms in Justin's area where he was chasing, but we did have one storm chaser that still has power and is with us tonight. Jenny Hagen is joining us. We also got storm chaser Ryan Vaudelainen. He's down there as well. We got Karen Richards in Prince George, British Columbia, sitting on the panel, as well as Hilding Donaldson. And Frankie McDonald, the world's greatest weatherman, is with us as well. Of course, I'm Joey, only the Caribbean Weather Dude. And there is Jenny Hagen coming in right now. What a good show we got for you, everybody. All hell broke loose yesterday. It was absolutely nuts. It was absolutely insane. And we'll tell you all about it as best we can here on the Comedy Meteorology Show right now.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not.
That's right. Comedy Meteorology Report on C for 88.7 FM in Prince George, CKU W95.9 in Winnipeg, CFBX 92.5 in Kamloops, and CHLS 100.5 in Lillooet. And we want to be on your radio station too. Also, you're watching us on the live stream here, Joey Only Caribbean Weather Dude YouTube channel. That's every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. We begin recording. And maybe you're hearing us on Spotify or Applefy or any of those other podcasting platforms and whatnot. Like that. Okay. Well, we always start the show off with the world's greatest weatherman, Frankie McDonald. So we better just get on with the Frankie McDonald stuff. Good to see you, Frankie. Want to hear your song? I just gotta find it. I failed, Frankie. I failed. I don't even have your Frankie song right now. I can't figure out where I put it. You're just gonna have to go without the Frankie intro song right now. Hey, Frankie McDonald, how you doing so far?
Frankie, the weatherman.
I got it.
The weatherman.
Found it.
Can you yodel for us?
Frankie. Frankie.
Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie?
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie McDonald, how you doing so far, buddy?
I'm doing great so far. Hurricane Aaron's going to completely bypass Nova Scotia altogether. Then he got another hurricane, and then starts with F is going to bypass my province as well.
Yeah, well, do you think the wind field might hit just enough to stoke up some fires there? Is there going to be any rain at all for Nova Scotia, Frankie?
No rain at all.
That's-
Not enough
yeah.
wind for Nova Scotia either.
Hopefully not wind then. Yeah. Well, let's keep the fingers crossed. But yeah, it's out to sea. That one's out to sea. People called it a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane this week, Frankie, and I said it's out in the ocean. It's staying
From the
there.
ocean. But the wind is not going to be really high in Nova Scotia.
That's great. What do you got this week for us, Frankie?
And then it got a hurricane going to completely bypass St. John's to Flane as well. They're going to bring some wind in St. John's as well. But no rain in St. John's, no rain in Sydney, Nova Scotia from Aaron. And the weather all across eastern United States of America. They got big cool weather heading for eastern United States of America Monday and Tuesday coming up. It's going to drive all the cold air all the way down Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Then you got the cool weather heading for Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, in North Carolina, and even in Georgia. It's going to be prolonged heat wave from Wells, British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia, Southern BC Interior, Victoria, British Columbia, and Alberta, Saskatchewan. It's going to bring a prolonged heat wave even in Vancouver, Victoria, Seattle, Portland, and all those places. According to Brian Smith, the Portland Weather Uncensored, it's going to bring lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in with high humid heat and really bad heat wave and thunderstorms in Idaho, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Nevada, and parts of Arizona where Gary and Dino lives. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Kansas, Oklahoma around next week. Then you got really hot air hitting for Alberta and British Columbia and all those. Even Vancouver's getting the heat wave next week as well. Then you got warm air, cold air fighting each other in Nova Scotia next week as well. That time of the year, because final full week of meteorological summers this week coming up. Then you got a long weekend in my area on August 30th, August 31st, and September 1st, Labor Day weekend, both Canada and the United States on the same day.
Right, yeah. What
And,
else, Frankie?
and lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Mexico, including Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nigeria, in El Salvador, Nigeria, Honduras, and Panama, including Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cayman Islands, Island San Martin, all those places. A lot of rain and thunderstorms going on in South America right now is Venezuela, Peru, northern Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, and Colombia. It's Santiago, Chile is getting a lot of rain in coastal areas. A lot of rain in coastal areas of southern Chile and a lot of snow up in the mountains of southern Chile. Santiago, Chile is getting a lot of rain Thursday night and Friday. It's really dry in Amazon rainforest right now in Brazil. And it's lots of cold air in Argentina. They're bringing snow in the flatlands of central Argentina as well. We got cold air coming from Antarctica. Then you got some rain and snow in Stanley, Falkland Islands. Then you got some really cold air in Lucia, Argentina as well. And the weather all across the United Kingdom. Then you got a really cool weather in England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland right now. Then you got some hot weather heading for England on Monday as well. It's going to be really hot in France. Then it's going to cool down. Same with Spain. Even Spain's getting cool weather next Friday as well. It's extremely hot in Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco right now. It's really cool in Norway. You got snow up in the mountains in Norway, in Finland, Sweden, and they got cool temperatures and rain and showers and forecast, including Finland, Sweden this week coming up, and the next week. Then it gets a really hot weather in France next week, Spain, Portugal, and then it gets cooler in Germany, Poland, Belarus, and Moscow, Russia to get some showers in the forecast, and lots of warm, hot weather up across Italy with thunderstorms and forecast those Croatia and Bosnia and Albania, Greece and Turkey and all those places. Then it gets a really hot weather in Ukraine right now, in Sochi, Russia, and all the Grozny, Russia, and all those places as well. In East Asia, and weather all across Japan. Then the typhoon season is kicking up in the high gear in September. Same in Atlantic, same time as Atlantic hurricane season kicks up in the high gear as well. Then you got some typhoon heading towards Vietnam on Monday. That's going to bring a lot of rain and thunderstorms to Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, and all those places as well. Then it got some rain and thunderstorms in the forecast in Japan. Then it got some cold, warm air, cold air fighting each other in Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan. Then it got some lots of Siberia is getting colder, and leaves are changing colors in Siberia, Russia right now to green, yellow, orange, red, and brown. And up to Siberia, so those Inuvik Northwest Territories, they're in the fall of the year right now up in Inuvik, Fort McPherson, Dawson, and Tatoya Northwest Territories. It's fall of the year there right now. And lots of rain and thunderstorms in Bangladesh and Myanmar and Indonesia. India is still in the monsoon season right now. A lot of rain and thunderstorms in Mumbai, India, and Delhi, India, and Nepal, and all those places got snow storm up in the mountains of Nepal. It's getting drier. They got some rain and thunderstorms in eastern Pakistan. It's really hot in western Pakistan, dry. So it's Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria. It's really hot in the Middle East right now. It's really lots of rain going on in Yemen, Oman. It's dry up in United Arab Emirates. It's really dry in Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Kuwait, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel. Lots of rain thunderstorms in southern Sudan, Ethiopia right now. A lot of tropical wave coming off of coast Africa. A lot of rain thunderstorms in Nigeria, Ghana, and all those places right now. In northern Congo, northern DR Congo, Uganda, and all those places right now. Angola is still in a dry season, so it's Namibia. Then it got some dry weather in South Africa, Botswana, Mozambique, La Reunion, Mauritius Islands, and Madagascar, and all those places. It's dry season still in effect. In Western Australia, Then it got some real cold temperatures heading towards Perth, Australia this Sunday coming. And it got some really cold temperatures and heavy rain and forecast in Perth, Western Australia. In Sydney, Australia, it's warm in Sydney, Australia right now. It's really hot in Northern Australia right now. Then it got cold weather heading towards Sydney, Australia, middle of the week. Last week in meteorological winters. This week coming up in Sydney, Australia. In time, spring's ahead in Australia in October. It's really cold in Auckland, New Zealand, Gisborne, New Zealand. There's rain in the forecast and snow in the forecast of the mountains, including Gisborne, New Zealand, Hawkesbury, New Zealand, Napier, New Zealand, Hamilton, New Plymouth, Auckland, Wellington, New Zealand. It's really cold all across Christchurch, Nelson, Greymount, Queenstown. It's really cold over near Cargill, New Zealand. Queenstown, New Zealand, surrounding areas. Antarctica is starting to get some daylight right now. Up in the Arctic, starting to get some darkness. I gotta show you something about different countries.
Yeah, you got some videos from this week. Guess who showed up, Frankie? Is Brandon did show up. So we got Jenny and Brandon now to talk to us about our storms that happened.
And
yesterday.
I'm gonna show you the videos from Russia. Kirill backing off, weatherman.
Kirill backing off in Russia here. For all you radio listeners, Frankie's getting some videos put up. He likes to show off Russian weather lately because in Russia, you're not allowed to talk about the weather.
And if you're here with us, I'm going to share the video. Share sound equals. I'm going to show you something.
All right, here we go. So we got What is this, Frankie? And Magadan. It's a river that's just out of control, and there's a transport, and its butt is in the water. It's like it's having a sit right in the water. The bridge is washed out, and the transport is dangling there. It's just dangling there. And the river is way high in Magadan, Russia, flooded everywhere. Must have been a crazy event. Listen to it. All you can hear is the sound of water. That's what you're hearing there, radio listeners. That was Magadan, Russia.
Look at the tornado path.
Where is this? In Russia? A tornado scarring the earth, just like kind of how the storm yesterday scarred the earth in Alberta.
It's in uninhabited area in Siberia.
Yeah, it looks like some cut blocks there, some logging shows or something like that. That tornado just went right through the forest, and it left a crazy scarring. That's a strong tornado, Frankie.
Over in Siberia. Look at a hailstorm in Russia.
Hey! Here are the size of potatoes. Raining potatoes in Russia. Crazy stuff, everybody. Wow, Russia gets some really crazy weather. It's a big country.
Bill Bay, Russia.
Yeah, it's a big country there, so they have a lot of weather. The bigger your country, the more weather you have.
Look at
Windows smashed out from potato-sized hail. Potato. That's all you're allowed to talk about in Russia is potatoes and vodka. And there you go. Big windows just smashed out of cars. Dents all over cars there. Dents. The windows survived that car, but the hood is just beat right up. It looks like something Reed Timmer would be driving. Got a tornado in Russia. All right, Nader, and it's got chunks of little Russian houses flying everywhere in the wind. Just not like a really big tornado, but it's still picking quite a bit of stuff up and throwing it all over the place. And if you're outside watching that, you got to be careful you don't get your head taken off by some of that debris. And it's not a safe time to be filming.
And here's another damaging tornado.
Another damaging tornado in Russia for you radio listeners. We're looking at this tornado, and it's picking up chunks of trees and leaves and boards and stuff. And it's a real messy looking tornado, kind of like the last one was. Just a messy ground circulation. And it's throwing stuff all over the place. And just because you can't see it that well doesn't mean it's not a very strong tornado. We know that.
And the name of the place in Russia is Suskan.
Suskan. What is this?
Suskan.
Suskan.
Look at the tornado there.
Holy, that's a neat looking one. There's a big funnel cloud just reaching on down, just like the drain is swirling down. And there's trees on top of cars. You got birch trees in Russia. just like here. And just like here, you can't trust a birch tree for anything. Never park underneath a birch tree in a storm, folks. I'm telling you that. They're always rotten trees. I hate falling birch trees. And people are like, can you go fall some trees on my property? I'm like, they're not birch, are they? Yeah, no, actually, they're cedar. I'm like, even worse. Even worse. And here we got some water in Russia, and across the water is a spout. It's the same tornado we were looking at earlier. With the weak circulation there. There's probably fish flying in the air and stuff like that at this point. Various minnows and stuff getting picked up in the water. They were thrown, and some pieces of boards are still flying around. It's kind of half on the ground. Now it's back on the ground and not on the water. There it is. Again, not a very strong looking tornado to your eye, but that doesn't mean it isn't strong. That doesn't mean it isn't strong, Frankie. Just because it doesn't look mean, sometimes looks are deceiving when it comes to tornadoes. The condensation funnel is not there, but the winds still are. That's a beautiful lake there in Russia, Frankie. If I ever go to Russia, no, I'm never going to Russia. But if I did, I'd want to go to a place like that. There you go. And that's pretty much the end. The tornado's coming apart there, it looks like. There's not much left in the air. It's just kind of floating back down to earth there, nice and peacefully. Nice and peacefully there. That's pretty good tornado footage there, Frankie.
And you got the video. You got the videos of me.
I got Frankie videos. We're going to come back with some Frankie videos in a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, so stay tuned, everybody, for more Frankie videos. I don't know how long we have Brandon Houck because he doesn't have power, I don't believe, and I'm worried his phones are going to run out of power. Brandon Houck, how are you doing there?
Oh, yes, this is going to be the shortest Brandon Houck report ever on the show. Because we've had quite the storm here roll through here yesterday, and my audio probably sounds really terrible as well. But anyways, this is the best we'll do. Next week, we'll go with the full-on blow of the Brandon Houck report again. So yesterday, we had quite a supercell that developed off the southern foothills yesterday afternoon in the Vulcan County area, tracked its way through with damaging wind, kilometers an hour, and we had at least 2D to golf ball size hail, but you have those winds gusting over 100K, 110, 120, you got significant damage, and especially areas just to my north, at least about a kilometer or two, like every single piece of grass lifted off of the ground, every single weed as well, and tree branch, needles from any tree just wiped right out, so it just like sticks out of the ground. It looks like a desert about a kilometer north of me compared to what it looks like in this area here, where we just have quite a few branches down. So we dodged a bit of a bullet, but yeah, to the north, we've also had not only that, but the power lines get knocked down, and even power poles get knocked down as well. And I still believe there's still a lot without power tonight. And I got to get my Wi-Fi fixed now as well, because that wind just moved the whole Wi-Fi system, which was supposed to be pointing this way. Now it's pointing that way. So I have to get it reinstalled again. So yeah, that's what's been going on. And right. And then the supercell was moving 80 kilometers an hour as it moved through here. So I was down the road just a little ways here, and I had to boogie. I had to get back to the area here, and from the car to inside the house, it was 2 minutes before the hail got here. So I timed it perfectly, and then I lost all power after that. Yes, so that's my day yesterday. What a fun day.
We were wondering, because I watched your live stream and then suddenly it just cuts. And I'm like, a storm's coming in like that. Brandon isn't just cutting his live stream.
Oh, no. I would not.
Holy moly. And then cut. And I'm like, oh. And I was nervous for you, man. I was nervous. I didn't want to say that at the time. I was like, well, we're tough guys when it comes to storm. All of us here, it's just storm. And I was like watching that, and I was like looking at where the wind fields were on velocity, and I knowing that you're just west of town, I was like, oh my God, I hope Brandon's house is still there. And people just down the road from you, as I understand, had their windows destroyed by hail and stuff like that. I seen the scarred picture that Braden Morriso posted, where you can literally see the scar across the prairie, kind of just going a kilometer from Brandon's house.
Yeah, pretty much just to the north of me, pretty much every single window blown right out of people's houses, and north of Brooks as well. Lots. Like, got some wild pictures coming in as well. I can't share them all, but yeah, it's like windows smash. You got debris into the house as well, and hail into the house, and it is a mess. So as I say, we got very lucky here. I was at this window over here, so it was the hail is coming this way, and I was looking at that way, so I was probably in the safest part away from any.
Oh, we might have lost Brandon. Oh,
Yeah.
Are you there? Okay, now you're back.
Okay.
Just sort of cut for a second.
Insane. That's right.
And then you were on CTV and CBC and everywhere today, of course, on all the radio stations talking about it. And it's great, you know, when you're the weather. Brandon doesn't have to chase storms; they chase him. They come right to his house there, a kilometer. Remember, a kilometer is only 1,000 meters. People, like, that's very close to Brandon's house getting trashed.
Yeah.
You know, I was nervous for you. I was nervous. Those were velocity signatures that aren't something you see. And, you know, and even the decibel return on the radar was like 78 or 79 or something like that. And I was like, oh my, I don't think I've seen a storm this year in Canada have a return like that. And yeah, I'm glad it wasn't worse.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, next week we'll have the full report again, and I'll have all my stuff there for next week. But this week, yeah, I'm just standing outside.
I have one question. Do we know, as people lost, they had their homes damaged and that sort of thing, any injuries? Is everybody safe? The most important thing to know.
So far, what I've known, so far, a few farm animals,
Horses,
which is pretty sad on that side there. There popped up today in the news, but not quite sure if it's related to the storm or whatnot. So the investigation's still ongoing with that. But so far, nothing else of any injuries that I've known of so far out of this.
I think Kara's daughter was one of the only ones I've heard about. And again, that was, you know, baseball hail hit her car, and she had an injury from that. And there was some collisions, I understand, on the highway. So there's probably some storm related injuries there that we don't know about. But in terms of, like, you know, no one's house was swept off its foundation or anything. But yeah, when you see that kind of scarring on the earth, that's something you see in a very, very strong tornado. And to have a straight line wind do that, I think is unbelievable.
Yeah, I did notice some rotation in that cell as well. So I know Northern Tornado Projects will be investigating, because some of the damage I've seen out here kind of has a little bit of that eeriness to it. So especially those big power lines. So we'll find out more about it next week for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, the big power lines, like, all I've seen is them facing the same direction. Is that not the case?
Yeah, that's what I saw today too. I went to take a look too. So
that doesn't sound tornado to me. They're not like ripped and thrown every direction.
And then there was some debris flown into some fields that had a little bit of a twist on the metals there as well. So yeah, as I said, we'll continue to look into that in next week. Definitely straight line winds, microburst, but did see a little notch on that radar velocity. So we'll look into it more into next week there.
And I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what kind of windstorm it was. And I try to tell people this too. It's like, well, just because it's not a tornado setup doesn't mean that a dangerous part of the storm doesn't exist out there. And I tell people that because they're in the forest in BC, they're out working, they're this and that, and it's like, man, you're in the wrong place. And I've come across many places in the wilderness here where trees are flattened. Like, you don't want to be there. Doesn't matter if they're twisted and thrown up because it was a tornado. It doesn't matter what caused them. It was 150K wind happened here. You know, much like at my hunting camp back in Ontario, where a storm came through and knocked every tree. It was like a kilometer wide swath that was several kilometers long. Everything was either snapped in half or ripped up. You know, and that's like, you're in the forest when that happens. So is this the same storm that you were on that Jenny Hagen got onto?
Oh yeah, I had it right afterwards.
I was just an hour east of him. So just slightly north and mainly east of Brooks. So over by Atlee is where I picked up on the storm. And at that time, I think it was registering about 136-kilometer-hour wind gusts when I picked up on that storm.
And you were trying to chase it and you couldn't catch it. Is that the same
Well,
cell?
I was in front of it for quite a while, but it overtook me. It started moving at 130 kilometers per hour. So at that point, there is no staying in front of it. So I had to actually bail north of the storm where the hail was a little bit smaller, and just kind of let it go past because there was no keeping ahead of that storm, no matter how hard you tried.
Even if Ryan was driving, I'm gonna just put a joke there for a moment because Jenny will laugh at that one.
Yeah, I don't know. You could probably hit 150.
But you know what happens to us BC people? We get into the prairie and we're like, wow, 120 speed limit. I'm out of here.
Yep.
And then
He's
you
gotta
get to
learn
Ontario and you get a speeding ticket in the first 5 kilometers. You gotta learn to like slow down as soon as you hit that border.
Yeah, there's no cops like for thousands of kilometers here in Saskatchewan. So
And if there is, they don't care. It's like, you know how it is. It's like, I'm RCMP. I'm not paid to give out traffic tickets. You know, I'm not a highway constable. And I kind of understand that. It's like they think it's beneath them or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking for them. So is that the fastest storm you've ever been up against?
That was right on par with one that I got in North Dakota last year. The one in North Dakota, I think, was moving 120 to 125 kilometers per hour. So that was pretty similar. This one was definitely like the wind was extremely potent. And I know here in Saskatchewan, I've seen way more damage from plow wind or microbursts or downbursts than I ever have from a tornado. And, you know, that's similar to what we've seen move through kind of that Brooks and just north of there. And that wind driven hail will cause a ton of damage, but it'll actually lift roofs off. We saw that probably about 6 years ago in the Eston area where it was the same kind of system, and it actually lifted roofs off and flattened houses. And so they can do way more damage than a tornado.
And like the spread of it as well, right? Like,
Yeah,
'cause
it's just
you can have a
massive, like-
derecho, you know, out of like, you know, a large complex of thunderstorms with this plow wind in front of it that's like flattening 20-kilometer wide swath. Just
Yeah. And like this one, the hail swath was like over 400 kilometers long. Like it was a crazy hail swath on it. Ryan was pulling all that data while I was still out chasing it.
which the storm was able to do in 3 hours of travel.
Yes.
And the time I lost it and I went to try and catch back up with it, it was almost on the east side of the province.
That's crazy. No tornado you heard of though, eh?
There was a possible one up by Martinsville that's being investigated. So that was probably around 9:30 p.m., I think. The tornado warning went on that one. There's what sort of appears to be a funnel cloud picture, but you can't see the base of it at all. It's hidden behind houses for all the pictures that I've seen. And so it's pretty hard to tell if it is like a scud below. You know, those can sometimes look like they've got vertical edges, but my thoughts is maybe it was just a big area of scud.
Yeah. Yeah, wild though. I mean, you had to guess those storms put a tornado warning in British Columbia basically on Sunday. You know, it's like we kind of had this like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday spell here where Tuesday not much happened, but Sunday and Tuesday were quite active, and then you know, a lot of that energy hopped over to the prairie side and was gone. But I was saying how like I was near that I got film of the storm that was tornado warned on Sunday up by Vanderhoof, and it wasn't hot out. It was like 15 degrees, and it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, what is doing this? Like, wild.
And it was crazy. The models actually picked up on that supercell bucking across brooks and over pretty consistently. So models were actually really accurate on that southern cell. Environment Canada, though, apparently didn't believe in it because they didn't have our areas as a high risk area at all. So
No, they had Manitoba Saskatchewan border, which just was nothing burgers.
yeah, that's the cap there. I didn't have faith would break, so I kind of really knew that this area would go. We seen Hank. He got close to golf ball size hail, I think, up in the Wilkie area. Those also very, very fast moving storms. And eventually the southern and northern cells merged on the other side of Saskatoon. And that's when like the tornado warnings went and it traveled right into Manitoba.
When yeah, and late too. So like I saw Hank chase up to Battlefords, and so the storm he was on was kind of going on a northeast trajectory for a little bit, kind of northish, and then when it turned, when the tornado warnings went on it, that storm took a weird turn. It was started going straight east for a while, then it started going kind of southeast for a while, making its way towards Saskatoon, kind of went north of there. Like it did weird things, man. It kind of went wherever it wanted to go. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, and here in Saskatchewan, that's often what we'll see just as those storms do go tornado warned, they'll take a south turn on us. So they'll be moving northeast and suddenly they take a south turn, and that's when the tornado warning goes, and that's when things get kind of crazy. And up along that Highway 16 corridor, you got some river valleys and upslope winds that'll help turn those storms south.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Anything else you're thinking of, Jen? We haven't seen you in a while.
It's been busy, taking over as a content director for the local radio station. So, top dog, got lots of stuff to do.
You deserve it.
Looks like we just had an 8.0 in the Drake Passage.
Whoa, tell us, what do you got?
It's just a notable earthquake tweet that came out by USGS. Preliminary magnitude 8.0 in the Drake Passage. So that's on the southern tip of Chile. That's a big one.
Got it. Out on the ocean. Gotcha. I'm like, where's Drake Passage? Okay.
Crazy.
So yeah, there's no
earthquake out there.
No information much yet up. Just coming in, it looks like.
Yeah.
Information just coming in. So I can't even. Yeah, I got the thing up here, but it doesn't really do you any good if it doesn't have any information yet. So we'll be looking at this. But 8.0, that is big enough to make a tsunami. Am I correct?
Yes, but I don't know what there is there for land underneath, or what type of fault is there. I don't think it's a subduction fault that's in that area, so
I don't believe so.
So it wouldn't. The likelihood of tsunami is lower.
I've never experienced an earthquake.
They
being a flatlander.
Yes, they're. I don't know how you describe them, except for it's a little surreal and a little unnerving, because all of a sudden what's normally solid under your feet feels like it's moving. So, and sometimes it feels like you're on waves on solid ground, which
a waterbed.
Yes, like a waterbed, and you feel these rolls underneath your feet, which is the weirdest feeling. And each earthquake is a little bit different, depending on where they are and how deep they are and all that fun stuff. I've been on one where I was asked once by my partner, he says, "Ryan, did you just fall?" And I'm like, "No, I did not shake the whole building by falling, because it was just one big boom, and that was it." That was around Christmas a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I was in Hamilton, Ontario in 1999 in my dorm room, and everything started shaking, and my roommate looked at me, and I was just sitting like in a chair like I am right now, and he's like, "Are you doing that?" And I said, "Dude, yeah, like how can I be doing this?" And it was like a 3.6 or something in Pennsylvania that came up the Niagara Escarpment, the vibrations, right? So that was weird. That's about the strongest I ever felt, and I lived in Vancouver for like 8 years or something. Didn't feel a thing there. That's great. I don't want to go to the coast again because I'm scared the minute I go there. What's the biggest one you felt, Ryan?
The biggest one I felt was actually the Nisqually quake in 2001 that happened just south of Seattle, and that was a 6.9. So we felt that all the way in Vancouver.
That's the one Mark talks about, I think.
Yes,
frequently.
and I remember my monitor at my workstation when I was working for the BCSPCA was shaking, and yeah, it was. We all got under our desks. Quite the experience.
I like it. I like how seismically inactive this part of BC is. I really appreciate it. You know, they're like, what's the least chance of having an earthquake in BC? Like, well, probably Wells. Like they had, remember I think it was 2011, we had a big one in Haida
Yeah.
and people in Quesnel had things shaken off their walls, and people in Prince George were saying that same thing, like windows were shuddering, and nobody in Wells felt a thing. The nice fractured philitic rock just acted like one great big shock absorption system. It was awesome.
Nice.
No volcanoes near here. It's great. All that stuff happened so long ago that all we have to do now is dig, and we find gold everywhere. It's
So they've updated it 7.5 now, 11 kilometer deep. So it's not deep, that's for sure. So it's
and
fairly
usually
shallow.
10 is the one they just like put out. It's like 10. It's like, you see that all the time. 10. So when it's 11, I'm like, oh, it didn't say 10 on an initial earthquake assumption, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the storm goes through Brooks, Alberta, and destroys Brandon Houck. Goes flanking the preceding storm line is ahead, and it goes through Hanks town of Wilkie, Saskatchewan. Jenny catches the one that goes past Brandon Houck there on its way into Saskatchewan. And then nothing burger happens in Manitoba, where like Reed Timmer and everybody's like, this is going to be tornado apocalypse. And it very well could have been. It could have been, but nothing didn't happen. And Justin got busted there. And, but you got a thunderstorm in Winnipeg, and it rained like insanity in Portage la Prairie. I know, I'm talking to you. And it rained like insanity in Portage la Prairie. So what were those thunderstorms like in Winnipeg last night? Oh, maybe somewhat disappointing for storm chasers, but I'm sure everyone would just prefer to have 100 mils of rain. Only 22 mils in Winnipeg, I guess.
Portage la Prairie got hit with 100 millimeters of rain. Out west to me, looks like the thunderstorms developed repeatedly over the same area. They call that training. So the thunderstorms which formed, they were moving only east at 30 kilometers an hour, and a few times they were quasi-stationary. What shocked me was how quick and how rapidly they developed. Scott Keller mentioned that there was a low-level jet in southwestern Manitoba that triggered the storms between Portage la Prairie and Brandon. And then they developed into these clusters. They had reports by Notre Dame, the Lords of hail to the size of golf balls. And there was also some reports, I guess, further east, because there was clusters of spots of hail up to the size of loonies. They had gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour. I shared a video in the chat of the lightning I took. It was absolutely nuts. Like disco lightning. I don't know if you want to pull it up, Joey, but
I don't think I have it saved right now, but if you can,
I was out there till
play it if
about
you want.
11. Later, it's okay. I was out there till 11:30 watching it, and when I came in, we were hit with rain, buckets of rain, zero visibility for at least a half an hour. I think the storms south of Winnipeg and south of me were going on till about 3 in the morning. They just there were some reports of flash flooding in Portage la Prairie. Some yards had backed up. Some basements had backed up, and they had about 6 inches by Portage la Prairie. They cleared up in the morning, and I think there was some diverting some flights that were coming from Saskatchewan and Winnipeg at 4 in the morning because they were, I guess, they were concerned about the convection in the area at the time. Anyways, wild storm, shook our house a few times, vibrated our windows like incredibly close strikes. one of the most powerful thunderstorms I have personally been through in all of the entire summer.
Your video gave me some, reminded me of July 3rd when I was in southwest Manitoba, when there was
Really?
that complex of storms that just kind of sat there after we were worried about the tornado near Redverse and whatever, and that never actually happened in Saskatchewan. That complex just kind of sat there for like 4 or 5 hours, just south of Brandon.
That's incredible that you got to experience lightning like that. Like, we don't normally get it, but when we do, it's nuts. Like,
Twice in
was that.
Manitoba, I have. Twice in Manitoba, I have. And that's Great Lakes lightning to me. Like when you're in East, Western Ontario and storms coming off the Great Lakes, they can be crazy electric like that. So the Brandon, Manitoba, I told you that story before, but sitting out in the middle of the night, one lone supercell, and man, it flashed so bad we couldn't. The next day, our heads hurt from how much lightning we'd seen.
I felt like
I had a hard time sleeping. I only had like 6 hours of sleep, and I was probably a scattered sleep because all the big booms of thunder and lightning going on around our neighborhood. But it's been kind of calm and cloudy and cool on days we don't get storms. And I don't think we're going to be getting another heat wave at least for another week. Temperatures in the next 2 days are probably going to be hitting the low teens, high teens, low 20s. So I'm hoping we can get a few more storm setups, but Justin thinks it's going to be next year. We're going to be getting more tornado events because he thinks storm season for us is pretty much done.
I don't know about Manitoba, but Western Canada, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again.
Well, we did have tornadoes in September last year. I did mention that earlier.
We did, and the same dominant feature in Western weather is still there, which is an upper level low pattern in the Gulf of Alaska. It's still there right now. It's projected to be there next week, and it'll probably be there in 2 weeks. It'll probably be there in 2 months. One low after another coming in off that Gulf of Alaska. Now we do have high pressure taking over quite a bit at the beginning of September out there, so maybe that'll rough things up. However, we also have a great big low now scheduled to come across the prairie at that time. It'll be a lot of it centered in the Northwest Territories, I think, at times, but the tail will trough on down right through the prairie.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
I saw like
already
September.
in the next 10 days, we could see possibly, and this could all change by then. The location of everything can change by then. So,
What's crazy though is that the storm we had last week, 6 a.m, and knocked our power out 3 times. But yesterday's storm was powerful enough to give off incredible lightning and hail, which didn't happen last week, and our power didn't go out this week. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the luck of the draw with lightning, but. And then that whole pattern you were talking about, it looks like September 5th to 10th might light up again over the prairies with a southwest flow set up in a ridge over eastern Canada.
yeah, I mean, that's so far out. I mean, like, I won't even get that specific, as to how or what it could look like. But I'll give you an example here in a second here. I'll try to give you an example of, I'll just pull up the images here. So here's an example. Wednesday the 3rd, they're saying a low. Now, could this happen on the 30th or the Wednesday the 7th? Again, this is looking out. These are computer models. It's not going to happen this way. This low could be here. It could be down there. Different solutions will kind of arise between now and then. Does GFS have it on there? It has it lower. It has it right in the middle of the prairie. That looks a lot more like what we just seen, right? Does Icon go that far? No, it doesn't, of course. Of course it doesn't. But here's our next low coming off this. So what I'm saying is, like, also, if we go back here and look and say we'll crank we'll crank on temperature and have a look. So there's Wednesday the 3rd, and it has the southern prairies looking very, very warm. Now what we'll do is we'll go up a little bit in altitude. You can see there's like freezing weather already now available in northern Canada. There's freezing temperatures there. It's being met in the middle of the afternoon. Okay, freezing. So that's already there. So we have colder air to play with, but we still have lots of hot air down south to be drawn up. It's there. If we go into altitude now and we take a look up in the altitude, what are we going to find? there's that cold. There's that cold. There's that upper level trigger that, again, the storms we had in BC on Tuesday didn't have a lot of heat to work with. So the disturbance wasn't a surface level disturbance. That was primarily driving their capacity to grow.
Yeah,
You know,
much like some of the disturbances which have set off storms lately, there can be numerous triggers. It doesn't have to be a cold front. It can be a low level jet. It can be like a stalled front. It can be an outflow boundary. When
Here we
temperatures
are.
at that level, like you're gonna get hailstones.
In this map now, we're 5,500 meters, you know, so we're taller than the tallest mountain in the BC Rockies and Alberta Rockies, sure. But up there, you can see the difference in that. Look at that trigger. So, I mean, to me, there's a lot of reasons why a really big severe weather pattern could happen again. Ryan, we haven't asked you many questions yet this week. I feel like we've kind of skipped you over a little bit.
Well, that's all good. It's all about the prairies this week. I don't have much going on in the Lower Mainland, nor do we ever really get much going on in the Lower Mainland. So it looks like we got it. But that said, for those that are down here, for Vancouverites, it's going to be a prolonged dry stretch. It looked like the ridge was going to break down by Monday or Tuesday, but now it looks like we're going to be dry until Labor Day weekend. So
Ingles called that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rocked
So
that.
That means a good chance of fires in Wells, British Columbia.
Maybe not in Wells, Frankie. Our indices aren't too good for burning. Fire spread, I just don't think it's there. But in the interior, yeah, maybe even the Caribou could see some more fires popping up. That's not out of the question.
That means you might fight fires one more time.
It's possible. It's possible. This zone, though, I don't know. I think what you need to do, Ryan, is your segment's got to be like Vancouver this week. Still no tornado outbreak.
And Jenny's doing great so far.
Still no tornado outbreak, but Vancouver's tornado period is always in spring or fall. We had a Sunshine Coast tornado back in November of last year. So, and I don't have to remind myself about 2021 when we had the tornado just outside of YVR that hit UBC.
Yeah, it did. It blew people's homework all over the place.
Ryan just needs to come back out to the prairies.
Yeah, so
I know.
Hey, Joey, I have returned.
Frankie has returned. You know what we need to do, everybody, now that Frankie's
All the
returned?
videos.
We got to look at the Frankie video of the week. I got some special videos I put up. Special Frankie videos I put up there. This one's called August Frankie. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Here we go.
This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Heavy rain is headed towards Santiago, Chile on Thursday, August 21st, 2025, during the evening hours. It continue on to Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Okay, guys, we're going to do it. Guy tries to eat 50 steaks at once.
50 steaks.
Frying the steaks in the barbecue.
He's frying the steaks up on the barbecue.
Putting barbecue sauce on the steak now. It's a T-bone steaks.
T-bone steaks this time.
T-bone steaks are ready. Guys, I want you to eat 50 T-bone steaks at once. Eat them all right now. Eat those steaks right now.
That'd be so awesome. I could eat 50 T-bone steaks. Look at Frankie go. He's eating a lot of steaks right now. The guy is eating the steaks real fast. It's hard because that's a lot of steaks. It's hard in the teeth, that much chewing.
Eat 10 more steaks.
Eat 10 more steaks. Oh, he's falling down.
Get up.
Don't go falling down.
Eat 5 more steaks. Don't go falling down.
You don't go falling down when you're eating 50 steaks.
I told you not to fall down while eating steaks.
See? Oh, he's gonna make it.
I just barely finished eating steaks. Okay, guys, let's do some dancing. Let's show my moves.
Okay, here comes the moves. These are good moves. Look at him go.
Sounds like kangaroos are coming.
Kangaroos.
Oh my God, the kangaroos are after me now. A lot of kangaroos are after me now. There's a whole pack of kangaroos after me now. There's a lot of kangaroos after me now.
Look at them.
So many kangaroos after me now. There's a whole lot of kangaroos after me now. Even more kangaroos after me now. The kangaroos finally got away.
A pack of them.
It's Frank Down. My dad, Frank Down, still uses SoundCloud. Mystic Miss. My dad, SoundCloud, still Mystic Miss. He writes his own songs. He makes his own music and things like this. My dad's still making a lot of music. It's great so far. My dad, Frank McDonald, He writes his own original songs and his own original lyrics. He played the guitar all by himself. He played a lot of music all by himself. He writes his own songs. He gives it a listen from Frank Down. This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Extreme massive heat waves head towards Portland, Oregon, starting on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Temperature's going to be really hot. It's going to be above 100 degrees Fahrenheit some places. Portland, Oregon, Uji, Oregon, Medford, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington, Salem, Oregon. Temperature's going to be really, really, really hot. Make sure you have your air conditioners, heat pumps, and fans ready to keep the house cool. Temperature's going to be really hot. Make sure you head to the beach and go swimming. Have your sunscreen ready to protect yourself from the sun. Limit your outdoor activities. Don't walk too far. Wear light colored clothes. Do not wear dark colored clothes at all. In Portland, Oregon's getting a massive heat wave starting on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. The heat wave's going to be awfully long time in Portland, Oregon, and the surrounding areas as well. Heat wave's going to be really dangerous. I urge everyone to drink lots of water in Portland, Oregon, surrounding areas as well. When you go for a walk, don't walk too far. Stay in the shade because the heat wave's going to be really dangerous for a very long time in Portland, Oregon, and surrounding areas starting on Friday, August 22nd, 2025 in Portland, Oregon, and the surrounding areas as well. I urge everyone in Portland, Oregon to be extra prepared. Wear a lot of sunscreen. Wear your hats. Wear your sunglasses or things like this. If you have anybody live in Portland, Oregon, be prepared for extreme major heat waves starting on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Take care, stay safe. Don't get too hot, still stay cool, be safe.
That's a great weather forecast, Frankie. Really great weather forecast this week. And I love the guy eating 50 T-bone steaks. I think that's great. I wish I had 50 T-bone steaks. I could go for that. Go for that right now. That's the Frankie videos of the week.
And I got news for you. Did you hear about this? Time springs ahead in Australia a weekend after our Labor Day weekend.
That's pretty early, eh? They don't waste much time.
Time springs ahead in New South Wales. Time springs ahead in Chile. First weekend in September. And the last Sunday in September. Time springs ahead in Australia. Then on first Sunday in October, time springs ahead in New Zealand.
Amazing. Amazing. Do you think they'll ever do away with the whole time change stuff, Frankie?
They just keep doing time change in Chile.
I think it's so weird.
Time springs ahead in Chile on September 7th.
Yeah, check this out. Here's a thunderstorm I was filming this week, Frankie. This one was pretty neat. This is one that I was telling you about. It was like not even, maybe this isn't even the right one. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it wasn't even cold. Or it wasn't even hot, sorry. And this thing just exploded. I was like freezing. I was shivering. This thing just exploded.
I found out time springs ahead in Chile on first Saturday in September.
When are we going to do away with it? The whole time change thing. I think it's ridiculous. Why do we got to change our clocks around? Like, what is the Earth as it is not good enough for people? To like, wow, the Earth is awesome, but its clock is wrong.
Day, like for them guys.
The Earth is awesome.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
The clock is wrong, though.
I got news for you. The late daylight savings time begins on first Sunday in October in New South Wales, Australia, Victoria, Australia, Tanzania, and Australian Capital Territory, and things like this. In South Australia, their time springs ahead on first Sunday in October.
That's all our viewers in Australia. We just want to let you know. And if you got friends in Australia, you better tell them, call them up and be like, hey, look, your time change is coming.
Down in New Zealand, their daylight savings time, people losing hours of sleep in New Zealand on last Sunday in September.
Yeah, it's horrible. The whole thing's horrible, Frankie. I hate it so much. The time change is evil. It's stupid.
That'll be Southern Hemisphere spring.
And it was invented by reptile people. That's who came up with the idea.
And did you hear about this? Once again, in November 19th, there'll be 24-hour daylight in Antarctica.
Yeah, I would hate that. I would hate that a lot.
Then around December 21st, that's the longest day of the year in Invercargill, New Zealand. That's the first official day of summer for them.
Yeah, can you imagine? It's going to be snowing here before you even know it.
Then it'll be winter here. There'll be summer in New Zealand.
Like second week of September, so many years in Wells, it's like it's snowing.
Once again, around early April, time falls back in New Zealand and Australia and Chile.
So just for everybody in New Zealand, Chile, everyone in Antarctica and everywhere, we just want you to know, don't miss the time change or you'll be late for church or whatever.
There, and down Chile, their time falls back in early April in Chile, Australia, and New Zealand.
Yeah, it falls. Does it fall back or spring forward there?
Spring forward there next month in Australia and Chile, and first Sunday in October in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right. It's spring there. Springs forward. That's so confusing. It's evil. Who
And
came up with
wait.
this?
Once again, in early April, I got something to say. Time falls back in New Zealand on first Sunday in April. The time falls back in New Zealand in April, first Sunday in April, same with Australia and Chile.
Like, who did this, Mike? Is this your fault that this happens?
You can blame the Canadians for coming up with the time change. I literally, when they do the time change in the fall months, I get so upset that I lose 1 hour of sunlight, and it's torture seeing the sun setting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, there's still half the day left. What bozos came up with the idea of time change in a region that sees little sunlight at all in the winter months? Like,
People with pure evil in their hearts. Frankie, how can people who have evil in their hearts find you on the internet?
If you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD, and my red is FrankDo1984. My thread is at Frankie MacD1984, and my link tree is Frankie McDonald. My ex former Twitter is at Frankie MacD. My Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD94. My TikTok is FrankDo94. My Clapper is FrankDo94. My Twitch is FrankDo94. My Snapchat is Frankie MECDON. My YouTube channel is Dogs Wolves, and my LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie McDonald. You're listening to Comedeorology Weather Report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
That's right. The science of comedy and meteorology, because the weather's funny business. Comedeorology. That's another episode. A 208th time there. Frankie and I made a comedeorology
Did you hear about
episode.
this? Daylight savings time starts on first Sunday in October, and first Sunday in April. Daylight savings time ends in New Zealand. It's a fall year there. Days are getting longer in New Zealand. Days are getting shorter in my area at the same time. Once again, around December 31st, there'll be shortest day of the year in my area, longest day of the year in New Zealand at the same time.
As a matter of fact, I did hear that. Somebody was just telling me that, Frankie. We had a great show this week. We had Brandon Houk come on and talk to us about how his house was spared from the wrath of something that happened a kilometer away from him. And Jenny Hagen went and chased that storm afterwards and had an amazing experience as it went 130 kilometers an hour, and she could not catch the storm. The storm was going 130 kilometers. It was a cloud going 130 kilometers an hour, people, like a rocket. Totally weird. Okay, and then, of course, it went into Winnipeg area. Man, I went into Manitoba. Mike McGregor saw a bunch of lightning last night. That was pretty epic-looking lightning. We did see the video ourselves. And Ryan Vetalainen, who was in Manitoba earlier this year, saw lightning like that. Wow. Who else did we miss? We did have temporarily Karen on the panel, and we did have temporarily Hilding on the panel. I think Hilding had lost internet in his new house, so we lost Hilding. But that's the show this week. You've been hearing us in the radio in Prince George, Winnipeg, Kamloops, and Lillooet. I'm Joey, only up here in Wells, BC. Find me on Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. We'll see you all next week, everybody. That is the radio show. The live stream will continue a little longer.
That's the show.
That's the show. That's the radio show, Frankie.
No.
Okay. That's the show. That's the show.
Down in Chile, their daylight savings time begins on first Sunday in September.
That's crazy, eh?
And the daylight savings time begins on last weekend in September. The last weekend in September down in Australia. First weekend in October to New Zealand.
What do they think they're saving? Like, you can't save time. You can't save time. Time
People
just keeps
lose an hour
going.
sleep in southern. Next month, people lose an hour sleep in southern hemisphere.
Yeah, it's kind of like that old
Yeah,
First Nations proverb where it's like,
Did you hear about this? People, and that means daylight savings time ends in southern hemisphere in April every year, like Chile, Australia, New Zealand.
yeah, I'm going to do what I did other years in the past, which is I'm not going to honor daylight savings time. I'm just going to continue on like everything's normal.
It's just something funny recently. We were in Winnipeg, wasn't Winnipeg, and our transit we have a new transit system. So hop on the buses last few week or so, and they've been behind by an hour. So I think they're trying to get ready for the fall back
Yeah, it must
system
be,
of the
eh?
month.
Yeah, good advice to everybody. Like I found out, if you're working night shifts, do not work the night shift on the fall back because you'll end up with a 13-hour night instead of a 12-hour night. That was the worst
Mhm.
thing I ever had happen to me
What
at the
bothers
Portland
me the
Hotel
most
Society.
What
You know,
bothers
I
me
was
the
in.
most about daylight saving time is people that say savings. Incorrect grammar.
Ah, yeah, no savings. But yeah,
No, it's
it's true. I was
savings.
in.
The sun sets at the same time every night, no matter what time you put the dial on for.
So I was working in the Roosevelt Hotel in the downtown East Side. Um, you know, difficult place to work. And then I found out I had an extra hour. And I was like, man, I didn't pack enough supper tonight for
I
this.
was
This
I was waiting for you to say you worked at the Pat, and then I was gonna go, oh my goodness, you would have run into my uncle.
No, I only worked at Portland Hotel Society owned buildings, so like
Aha.
the Washington and the Roosevelt and the Portland itself, Woodwards, Blood Alley buildings, and of course the safe injection site. Yeah, it was awful. 'Cause,
Surprised I
I'm from
never ran into
Saskatchewan.
you.
I don't have to deal with daylight savings time, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah, I'm
move
gonna
to
do what you do.
Saskatchewan.
I'm gonna
Literally,
ignore it. I did that in the
though
past too.
for some reason the other day my Google phone switched to BC time.
That's weird.
So my alarm went off and then I'm sitting there and I walk out and I'm like, it's still dark out. What the heck is going on? And yeah, my clock went an hour ahead an hour ahead.
Smartphone, eh?
Oh,
And I grew up with those ones that you wound up, and they had the little hammer that went. And sometimes they'd run out of, they'd stop ticking in the middle of the night, I guess. So, I always want to make sure they're like cranked up to go. But, they never got confused as to what time zone they're in.
I had those old like analog alarm clocks. Goes beep 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 beep. So if you get to change the time ahead or behind by an hour, you end up screwing up the next day. They don't
Yeah.
automatically change like the new ones do.
It's kind of like with your truck, you just don't bother. And then in the spring, it fixes itself. And the right time is there again. And if I can just make content all winter, like I don't care what time it is.
It's
So
dark no
why do I
matter
have to
what
switch my
time.
clock? Why do I have to switch I live up in the mountain. I don't fucking care what the clock says. I don't care what day of the week it is.
Well, the only benefit to it is if you don't change your clocks, and I think how does it work? It's either an hour ahead or an hour late. So is it, if you like leave your time on and people move forward, you're an hour early. But if people change the time back and you move forward, so you come to places an hour late.
Hey, check this out. I just found when the coincidence thing happened here, Jenny, you're gonna like this. I don't know who these people are, why they're sharing your pictures. But
are these the chemtrail crazies?
no, West Central Online.
Oh, that is my company.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That is West Central Online. If you guys go, that's where all my stories that I write, and you can read all of my stories.
Oh, I didn't know that. So I guess I should follow it then, eh? Okay. Look there's a guy eating metal. Crazy. He's like, I'm from Saskatchewan. Arr, wheat's not enough for me.
We eat our metal.
She's just fucking munching on that thing. Arr. It's good for
I
you.
got a list of the rainfall totals from last night. If you want me to read that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 120 I thought was the height there, the high one. I don't know where that town is that got 120.
Just see. Okay, Winnipeg 138 millimeters. Charleswood, Banniestell 119. Oakville 115 millimeters. Portage Prairie 100. Sanford 94. Starbuck 91. Niverville 76. I will list them all. Eli 72, Brunkild 66, Steinbach 41, Elm Creek 37, Woodlands 29, Airport and the Forks, Winnipeg 22 millimeters, and Sprague 21 millimeters. So
more rain than our atmospheric river last Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So no tornadoes in Manitoba, just an atmospheric river. You fucking flailed on that one, Environment Canada.
Kindersley actually saw close to wind I think they got up to 116. So of course I'm chasing down southern Saskatchewan, and everybody in Kindersley's messaging me to see if they're being hit by a tornado.
And let's be fair to Environment Canada, they did explain in their discussion that it was conditional in southeast Manitoba or southwest. I always get my directions mixed up. Southeast Saskatchewan and southwest Manitoba. They did indicate that it was conditional.
I'm just going to say that for now on in every forecast I make, but it's conditional. You know. It's just like,
I'm gonna write that in my forecast too, because my forecast busted. I said there's gonna be apocalyptic tornadoes and hailstorms and major convective line. None of that happened. All it was just a rain barrage.
well, you gotta be.
I'm just gonna have to start sending Joey all my daily horrible weather jokes.
I'd take them.
I crack at the beginning and end of every one of my forecasts horrible Saskatchewan weather jokes.
Let's hear some. Come on, you got some.
I'm gonna go a few minutes, but I'd like to hear some jokes, Jenny, please.
Think on my feet.
Yeah, you must have one like in reserve that you know.
Hey Jenny, what you need to do then is you need to bring back, because Nevin DeMilano, I forgot his name now, in Edmonton, used to always do Met Joke Monday on Twitter. Now maybe this is what you need to start bringing up and reviving Met Joke Monday that Nevin isn't doing anymore.
Met Joke Monday.
Yes, Met Joke Monday. Brandon does it
we need to do something like that.
Yeah, the problem with Brandon's jokes when he does his weather jokes. The problem with his weather jokes, like, you know, when he makes them is like they're not funny.
No. So maybe Jenny's are better.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Let's see if I can find a video for you guys here while we're.
On a funnier note, a guy was arrested for robbing a pizza, and apparently he escaped on a transit bus after trying to threaten someone with a knife, and he was followed by police, and police arrested him after he got off the transit bus. So don't steal pizza from pizzeria.
Must be good pizza.
Santa Lucia, probably.
Yeah, what you do is you steal other money, and then you can have many pizzas. People these days, they don't work like we used to work back in the day. You know, you want to come on, criminals. You got to work hard if you want to be successful criminals. Criminal life isn't just all waiting for it to come to you.
Yeah,
I don't,
Jenny, because I gotta get going here in a minute.
I don't endorse. Yeah, we're like poking at Jenny, like, do something funny now.
We're all waiting now. I'm still sitting in the car. I'm parked outside my place.
Well, that's your fault.
I know. Well, I drove home. I'm like, there's my building. It's over there. I'm sitting here.
That's crazy. You live in that thing?
I live in this thing.
Imagine getting
no chat here, eh?
Imagine getting lightning footage from the top floor of that thing.
A friend of mine has a beautiful view in his place, and he's like, "You're not bothering me at 11 o'clock at night to come shoot lightning." I'm like, "I hate you."
Yeah, that's not a friend at all.
I'm like, "It's twice a year."
Do you have this with other friends, like when lightning strikes in the area, and then your phone dings like 50 times, and it's like 50 people being like, "There's lightning."
Yeah.
Heard thunder.
Especially around here. It's a big deal whenever we have a thunderstorm. So then, yes, all of a sudden, or I get tagged by a whole bunch of people. And yeah, but I don't mind. Please keep doing it. I love it.
Yeah, it's like,
There, I
I'm
shared
like,
it in the chat there, Joey. I won't play the audio on my computer, so.
well, you'll have to reenact the joke for us then, I guess.
You guys are making things difficult on me.
Go
No.
easy on her, Joey.
It wouldn't be so difficult if you were very funny. You'd
I'm
be like,
not
"This
very
is my
funny, though.
chance." You'd be like, "Yes, my time to shine." I'm kidding you.
Well, first time I've heard of people's pools overflowing from rainfall.
I guess here, and remember here in West Central Saskatchewan, the only thing more unpredictable than the weather is a gopher on a gravel road.
That's true. That's true. You know, my
That-
Saskatchewan. Ever tell you my Saskatchewan joke I made up?
What's that one?
It goes like this. It goes, Saskatchewan. That's the province where if you go to the top of your house for 3 days, you can watch run away your wife.
In Winnipeg, the weather is as unpredictable as a person on the street who is tweaked out or something. There's also the unpredictability of Winnipeg drivers too. I've experienced my fair share of Winnipeg drivers, and it can be really bad. I personally will never want to drive unless I have to storm chase.
It's so bad in Vancouver that Ron's just parked there and he refuses to move.
I'm not moving.
I can't take it anymore.
That's your weather. If you don't like it, don't worry. The wind will take it to Manitoba soon enough.
That's right. That's why there's so many mosquitoes there, I always say. They just stack up. Like the whole prairie.
Well, this year hasn't really been
blow.
particularly bad for them, surprisingly.
Here
That's-
it has been because we have gotten these massive rainstorms, like Eston, which is just 20 minutes east of me, has been flooded out twice with flash flooding due to like 6 inches of rainfall falling in an hour. So, like the Riverside Park, it had rivers flowing down the road and golf course, and the town of Eston just underwater. So, yeah.
With
I had
historic
friends that-
mosquito larvae that have been waiting for years, being like, "Yay! Now's my chance."
Certainly has been wet there this year. I had friends that came and visited from Calgary last weekend, and they're like, "Holy smoke! It's greener in Calgary than it is in Vancouver in August. What's going on?"
Thank you for not using the M word.
No, never. Never will I use.
Swear
Now
word.
the competition comes. Now the competition in the next few months comes with who is going to be the snowiest, Vancouver or Calgary.
Wells.
We'll see.
Wells
We'll
will be.
see. There you go. That said, hey, hopefully I was try. I keep trying. One day I'm going to make it out with Jenny to do a blizzard chase because we never got a selfie this summer, which I realized after I left. I'm like, oh my goodness, we never got a photo. So
We got one in front of the owls.
Oh yes, we did. I never tweeted that out.
Well, what the hell?
That's right. I just sent it to a group chat. That's
I
right.
can't
We
wait
got
to
one picture together.
honestly wait to see you guys in the field. In a year or two, I'll be out chasing probably. I had to work on getting my full license, but might even take a rental car on the road and just put the hail claims aside. Get hail damage and be like, yeah, it's your guys' problem, but I'll pay for it.
So funny story. I rented a car in Kansas this year, and it got damaged by hail. And then they emailed me afterwards, the claims department, going, "Have you made your claim with your insurance company?" I was like, no, because I got the loss damage waiver. And they're like, then they reply back, oh no, sorry, we found that now. I'm like, oh, these guys were trying to get me to make a claim so that they wouldn't have to go through the loss damage waiver that I paid for. Sneaky. I'm like, no. And I didn't purposely try and find the hail either.
Imagine explaining the story that you drove yourself in the hailstorm.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
said to Brandon yesterday before the storm hit. I said, "Get in your car and go get it so you can get some like hail damage cred."
It is not fun. 2 years ago, I got cored bad, close to probably tennis ball. And
Holy.
what happened is wind blew a Super Bee over the highway, and So I was down by the US border, no east-west options at all. If I would have went north, it was softball size hail. So I just sat there and took the core. And there's Braden Morriso texting me, and he's like, "Are you alive?" Like, holy crap. Like,
I see you got some video this evening, but where was he yesterday? I don't see any crazy video from him from yesterday, which surprised me.
He must have been in Manitoba.
He must have been.
Ah, so he was just bored
everybody
watching the
was
rest
in
of our
Manitoba
stuff.
yesterday.
Because he hasn't told it.
I think they had the Dominator, Canadian Dominator vehicle in Manitoba yesterday too. So I think everybody was in Manitoba waiting for it to go big. Justin thought it was going to be an Eli 2.0.
Manitoba is that beast that it is either an epic blue sky bust or epic chaos. There is no in between usually out there on those big setup days.
Yeah, that was a definite fail. Yeah, everybody was ready. Everybody was ready, waiting and ready.
I learned a lesson. I drove myself into a hook of a thunderstorm this summer. I drove it myself to drive home, but we drove right beside a tornadic supercell, and I saw the wall cloud along the highway, and it was like, okay, I'm never driving myself driving into the hook part of the storm again like I did that time. Some things you learn as a storm chaser you keep with you.
Okay, what have I got here for you? See if I can find this. No. Where is it? Oh yeah, 6 storms in one day. Here's my day the other day. Welcome to Jump Ahead, and we'll turn the volume off.
Boy, I'm an idiot.
I turned my camera the wrong way and missed a great lightning strike.
That's always the way. That's that is the story of my life.
I had one that was like right in front of me. It was like, and it was the second I turned the camera off. 4th storm of the day. This one made all kinds of cool scuds. It was real pretty. It was real pretty.
4 storms in a day? That's a record. Max,
6.
Maybe I've gotten as max. Maybe
6,
I've gotten,
and I could have had 7, but I didn't want to drive anymore. Could have had 7. Yeah, like it gets all kind of a bit of a wall type feature falls down below it here, and it's got all these really wicked looking scuds, which I don't believe are funnels.
You know, you're from BC when you're like, look at how fantastic this is.
Yeah, really.
It's like, what is this?
I'm looking at a thing like that's just basic everyday clouds. I've seen Manitoba.
Nah, it was the beginning of a great storm. It was the beginning of a great storm.
Looks can be deceiving, I guess.
Yeah.
There he
They
goes.
look different coming off the mountains. I don't.
There you go. Here's the time lapse. It's just pulling itself together. Super cool. And then I went and parked in front of it, took a bunch of lightning shots. Strikes, and that was where one of the ones I missed. It was like I say, it was like instant flash bang. I'm like, no. Because what I'll do is like I'll film for like 10 minutes, and if nothing exciting happens, I'll just delete the video right away, so that when I get to the drawing board to edit later, I don't have like hours of just nothing to sort through. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
So like I click it off, and like the second I do, it's like flash, and I'm like, no, why are you doing this to me? So that was a fun one as it developed there. Got fun for a bit. And then the next one came.
Turn it off to delete the last video, Mike. I've been recording for 5. Still all the same.
Here's me getting
mad. We haven't found the storm yet. It's hiding in here somewhere in this mess of rain and darkness. God damn it. The second I turn the camera off. Boom. That was fucking close, too. Weird clouds behind them.
So then we had this other one.
More and more exciting here. Each one producing more and more interesting things.
Because I don't want to. But this one was beautiful. This one became a nice hail producer. Caught it in the Barkerville Highway. Punched east. Had this like great inflow jet there. You can see all these little clouds just streaming right into the front of the storm where it's developing. That's the Fraser River in the distance there where the drop in the land is. So it's, I mean, it's 600, 800 feet lower than I am.
Pretty sweet landscape scenery there.
Probably
It
600.
doesn't look like much. Doesn't look like much, but it does look like it's got a bit of an LP
What do you mean
base.
it doesn't look like much? You guys.
I'm just sad that we haven't got any monsoonal flow here, and that's what gives Vancouver our light shows in the summertime. But we haven't had any. We haven't been able to tap into that monsoonal flow this summer.
Here's the time lapse on it coming up. It was very nice time lapse. Very fun. Just shot up out and over. The core of it's just over here. Went and got ahead of her, got some hail, and then went and caught one more storm after that. 6 in one day. It was a fun chase day. Of course, that's all on my channel. If you want to go look, feel free.
Anyways, Joey,
Well,
it's good
boys.
being on the show. I'm gonna head out.
There we go.
Yeah,
I was
well,
out till
that's
chasing till
beautiful.
1, so it's time for me to go to bed.
yeah, fair enough. That's
All right.
that's-
Have a great night. It was great being on again. I'll have to make an effort to be on again.
I really love it when you show up, Jenny. Really do.
Nice
Well,
meeting
see
you
ya,
again,
guys.
Jenny.
And
Take
as you
care.
said,
Good night, Mike.
definitely
Good night,
wasn't
Jenny.
definitely not
Hi,
golf
guys.
ball hail, but that was some good hail chunks hitting me there. It was a fun day. 6 storms in one day. Love it.
Love it when that happens.
Yeah. And like Mike said,
Max,
training.
maybe I've gotten is like 3 storms in a day, but they are powerhouse storms. So I'd rather have 3 powerhouse storms than just 6 small ones. But I'm gonna take what you can get on the prairies.
The first
Nice,
two I let go, and they went and became severe warned up by Prince George. So they were really forming in the same area in the West Caribou. Basically about 20 kilometers from my position. They were just popping up one after another throughout the day. And it's like, well, how far do I want to chase? If it crosses over Highway 97, there's no catching it into the network of random logging roads. So I just kind of stuck in the same area and watched each of them popping up as they went. But I think that first round went pretty severe on its way up through other side of Hickson there, dropping large Toonie hail or whatever, right? So
What's the largest hail size you've seen, Joey?
I'm not sure exactly what it was. It was probably like golf balls or bigger during the Calgary hailstorm in 2010. I know that the area I was in didn't get the size of the hail that downtown did. I was kind of on the north end of town. So there were big hailstones where I was, but I'm pretty sure they got closer to tennis balls downtown where the $450 million in damage was done.
That's about the same size hail I saw on June 9th, 2012, when I got a supercell develop. Came right through St. James.
In BC, the biggest I've seen is loonies. That's a pretty rare event for BC to get loony hail.
Well, it's the apocalypse when there's baseball and golf ball size hail in BC.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen. It's just, generally not going
I'm just
to.
tossing it out there. It might happen at some point.
But yeah, I've seen ping pongs and golf balls definitely and slightly bigger in BC storms. It does happen.
It needs to be on the
like,
top of the mountain. It melts by the time it gets down to most of our low levels.
Well, it's like that Vanderhoof area can be pretty hail producing. Out by the Nechako Reservoir and whatnot, and areas of the West Caribou. A lot of those storms that kind of trend through that region can be quite spectacular in hail. But we've had some good ones this year. Like I know it was quarter to loony size that the tornado warned storm on July 1st and Prince George was dropping, right? So in Wells, I haven't seen hail much bigger than, I don't think I've seen bigger than Nichols here in Wells, but what I have seen is 8 to 10 inches of hail here. If you can believe that.
What is that size?
No, it was accumulation, yes. Where like I came down the road and I was like, what the fuck happened here? It's like literally, yeah. It was like literally hail on the roads, hail on. I just like, man, I was just coming home.
I've seen that kind of thing too. I think there was a hail apocalypse a year or two ago. St. James got clobbered, and it was neat. There's some knee deep hail in spots. I know what you're talking about. It's almost like it turns everything into snow.
Yep.
Yeah, it kind of looked snowish. What's this video Jenny shared here? Another West Central Online. So okay, now I know. I'm following
I would
Wes
go,
and
guys.
Phil.
I didn't really fall asleep till 3 a.m. last night, so
I'm like scared to play videos because the last time I did that, my computer like crashed. But yeah, that's the show. It's 8:30. That's 2 hours. I done my part for the world, everybody. That's the 2 hours. There goes Mike. We lost Brandon. We lost Mike. There's only Ryan and I are left. It's like we're the
Yes,
holdout.
and I'm trying to go get a sunset now.
That's
see if I-
excellent. And you know what it is too? It's like we're out west, so it's like it's still early,
Yeah, I'm like, it's not even 8:30 yet.
and everyone in
Right.
Saskatchewan's like,
Bedtime.
yeah, they go to bed at 8:30 in Saskatchewan.
Because they wake up at 5 in the morning. That is not me.
Yeah, well, there's like nothing to do in Saskatchewan, so nighttime comes. You're like, that's it. I'm going to bed.
Yep.
You know, that's how it used to be back when before there was TV and internet and everything. People would get dark, and people would be like, well, that's the day. No point trying to do things in the dark all night.
Nope.
And no, not anymore. Now people like stay awake all night and sleep all day and wonder why they have mental health problems too. Not me. I know why I have mental health problems. Okay, that's the show.
Alrighty.
Let's
Thanks,
not talk
everyone.
about
Thank you, Joey.
PTSD tonight. Okay, Ryan, thanks for being on,
Okay.
man. That was a good show, eh? That was fun.
It was great.
That was good. Yeah, pat ourselves in the back. And I just want to see this keep growing. I love when all the storm nerds can come together in one place. It's like we got to keep bringing more of them, and then soon we'll be unstoppable.
Yeah, we'll try and get some more people on.
Yeah, I think sometimes storm chasers are like weather people think it's like a competition or something, and I don't know if they are in competition, but they're like, oh well, that guy's got his podcast, and I'm like, no, my podcast is your podcast.
Just join for one.
Yeah, just take it over and come whenever you want and say whatever you want. I don't care. I just want us all to be part of it.
I will let others know. Alrighty, you have a great night. I am now at English Bay. I'm going to go take a photo of a sunset, hopefully.
Okay, I hope to see it. We'll